Greetings fellow flight simmer and welcome to the reaction review with me, GripperSim. Microsoft Flight Simulator Episode 8 IFR is here at last after so many delays. And me included. I was delayed today also. But anyway, why did I put "will it cost you" in the title? What kind of clickbait witchery is this? It's a disgrace. Clickbait! No, it is not clickbait. It is, however, a headline, and there is sound reasoning and logic behind why I put it there. And I'll have to explain to you after I've gone through the video a little bit. So we're going to talk about navigation data, what it is, flight planning, what it is, flight systems and ATC and what it is. And there's good news for newbies to flight simming. I know most people learning to fly find IFR very, very complicated, intimidating and scary, and it looks far too complicated. Well, actually, once you get to know it, it's great fun. It's absolutely great fun. And Microsoft have found a way to simplify flight planning for you, if you so choose. Now, I'm going to steer this video towards newbies, okay? Because I know a lot of people watching the channel, they know this stuff backwards and they're very good at it. But there's a lot of people on the channel who are new to it. So I'm going to simplify everything just a little bit. So what is navigation data? Nav data includes all the relevant information about airways or highways in the sky, navigation on beacons such as VORs and NDBs and instrument landing systems, ILS for short, are simply radio signals you follow in order to navigate. They can be flown manually or on the flight management computer or flight management system on your particular aircraft on autopilot or without autopilot. So where traditionally did us pilots get this information from? Well, my particular choice was Jeppson, and this included all the airways and all the VOR frequencies and all the procedures which are relevant to air navigation. There was a lot more information in these manuals than I pointed out, but for example, this is a portion of an airways chart. So for example, we have UL52, and that's the name of the airway. You have to fly flight level 245 and you're given directions. And there's other waypoints and information in these charts. This is an ILS instrument landing system chart for runway 10 right in Portland, Oregon in America. And as you can see, it has frequencies and a whole host of other information that is related to your approach for that particular runway. I've highlighted here that this plate is dated the 4th of July 2014. That's got to be out of date. And what used to happen is we'd get updates in the mail and we'd have to tear out the old page and put in the new page because things change in airports. A lot of stuff changes and you don't want to be flying with an out-of-date plate. So all this information is called the AIRAC, and so thankfully, due to computers, we can upload all of this data directly into the flight management computer of your given aircraft. So Microsoft have partnered with NavBlue, which is one of the companies that supply all of this real-world data to the airlines, and they're integrating this data into the new Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, which is going to make it so much more realistic. Now, on other flight simulators, there are third-party products you have to get, but what Microsoft are saying is it's just going to be in the flight sim. We're going to have it for you, which is interesting, but I have a question. And I'm just going to get to that question after the good news. Now, typically speaking, new simmers, including me, I have just started learning this FMC, flight management computer, and it's actually not that hard once you know what you're doing, but it scares people away. So what I'm saying is Microsoft have engineered their flight simulator so you don't have to worry about all this complicated and scary flight management computer business. It's actually really, really simplified for you. So hey ho, let's have a listen to what our friend says.
Once a departure and a destination are selected, you can access flight planning functionality. It will determine your routing based on the type of flight you want to make. From direct or VOR to VOR flights to IFR low and high altitude routes. You can also manually edit route to your convenience by adding and removing waypoints. A cruising altitude is suggested for your route, which you can edit if desired, and estimated times between waypoints are provided. You can find this information in the navlog. Standard instrument departures and standard terminal arrival routes, known as SIDS and STARS, along with ILS, VOR and AirNav approaches are all considered in FS 2020 Flight Planner, meaning that we'll be able to generate routes that are true to life. Flight plans can be saved, loaded and generated from external tools. Flight planning information will transfer from the world map to aircraft instruments. You can also create, edit flight plans directly in cockpits.
So no matter what aircraft you're using, Microsoft will put all that data you've planned previously into the flight management computer of whatever aircraft type you're using, which of course is flight planning. So the good news here is, very simply, that if you don't want to have to program your Garmin 430 or your Garmin 530 or your G3X or your Garmin 1000 or your Garmin 3000 or your Garmin 5000, which are all included in the simulator by the way, you just put it into that interface we saw earlier and hey presto, it's all put into the computer for you. Now, if you want to program it yourself, of course you can, because sometimes you want to make changes to your navigation path, and it's a bit of fun later on to either do it completely manually, like on this Cessna 152 here. So you've got 2 VORs and 1 ADF here, if that means anything to you at all. Now, with regards to tutorials in this, I do find I can explain this very well. I made a video 2 weeks ago with the 737 FMS for X-Plane 11. It's reasonably well received. People do seem to understand it. So I'll have a look at it. I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner so you can have a look. It does go out for 40 minutes. So make sure you've got your recliner ready and some popcorn. And let me know if it works for you, if it actually helps you fly the flight management computer. I do intend to make more of these. Now, the reason I haven't made a video last week is because I'm trying to learn the 737, the Airbus A320 and the 747. In anticipation of Microsoft 2020 coming out, so I can pass it on to you in the simplest, most straightforward, easy to follow way possible. Flight systems and ATC air traffic control. The air traffic control is automated by the simulation. It'll give you taxi instructions, departure clearance, takeoff clearance, en route instructions, vectors for landing on the ILS, and will also take into account both online traffic and simulated traffic. So if, for example, you stop on the runway after landing and hold up incoming traffic that's behind you, the ATC will give that traffic instructions to go around as you would expect. With regards to the systems, it has the toga button to take off, go around, and all the usual autopilot items you would expect. Now, with regards to the ATC, it's in this menu up in the upper left-hand corner, and you pretty much click on who you want to talk to, and you click on what you want to say. There's no actual voice system, which raises the thought, if it was something clever like Amazon Alexa, that would be very, very clever, but they don't appear to have that yet at the moment. But the menu for the moment in the upper left-hand corner doesn't put you under pressure, because when you're talking to someone live in ATC, there's an awful lot of pressure. It adds a lot of work for you to do and certainly can increase your workload. But let's have a look here and see how the system works.
Airbus 320, climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Continue to Yankee, Victor, Romeo, turning and following heading 200. Resume on navigation, climb, and maintain 10,000 feet. Airbus 320.
This system is really, really good if you're a newbie, because it tells you how air traffic control works and how to talk with the radio. It's a brilliant tutorial for you to begin with, because I guarantee you somebody like VATSIM, which is actually free by the way, which reminds me about the data, I'll come back to that, but it's completely free, and you've got a real life person who knows what they're doing sitting in their office somewhere, it may be in Vancouver, and they're controlling New York airspace, and you've got to physically talk to them, and there's someone on approach, someone for ground, and it's really realistic. And I can tell you, it really opens up an air of realism and immersion to the whole experience. I'll just leave you for a moment just to enjoy this approach.
Airbus 320 contact Vancouver departure on ONE 26.125.
Waypoints are flown through Autopilot Panel, FCU, monitoring the navigation display to check the constraints. ATC communication can be delegated to Copilot AI if you want to focus on flying the aircraft while keeping ATC communication going. The weather radar is available to analyze live weather. In addition to live weather, we can set precise weather conditions, including ceilings and runway visibility range, for instrument practice.
Continue to Romeo, Oscar.
If you want to change your plans, you can cancel and request IFR clearance based on the active flight plan in your instrumentation. We can now follow STAR procedures supported by the MCDU, the navigation display, and ATC.
Going to 1825.1, Airbus tray 20.
Airbus 320, you are 29 miles north. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect ILS runway 16 left approach. Via Golf, Romeo, India, Foxtrot, Yankee, transition. Clear to Golf, Romeo, India, Foxtrot, Yankee.
Clear to the ILS, on a good intercept of final heading, and leveled at the appropriate altitude, you are set to activate the approach mode to follow the glide slope until we reach the minimums. You can hear traffic on the radio. The ATC gives vectors to other planes. You can also hear ATC asking to report traffic in sight if they are close enough. We are asking for landing clearance. If you choose to land without clearance, you can cause unexpected AI behavior, such as preventing traffic planes from taking off or landing at certain runways. A traffic might abort landing and do a go-around. Queue-up planes may wait for the user to land or go away. You can disengage the autopilot and end-fly the final moments, or auto-land on planes equipped to do so. FS 2020 will host an authentic IFR flight experience from gate to gate, allowing everyone to enjoy the thrill of a real-life flight.
Okay, hang on a sec. Let's look at that landing again. It looks a bit weird. Is that still at twice the speed? It just looks odd to me. First of all, look at the landing gear. They don't compress. Do they compress? There is wing wobble there, with, you know, the wing flex, I think. But it just doesn't look right. It's like maybe 1.5, 2 times the speed. Just looks off to me. That's all I'm saying, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. It just doesn't look... I've seen plenty of aircraft landing and it just looks odd. Maybe he left it at twice the speed by mistake, but the gears should compress with the oleo. Anyway, okay, let's talk about, whilst we're looking at these lovely pictures, let's talk about why I think that they might charge you for the data for the AirRec information. So, will it cost you? Well, here's my reasoning. As a pilot, and when you're flying IFR in the real world, you are legally required to have updated data, the AirRec data, all the data for all the airways and all the procedures and all the ILS procedures of your area of flying. And I paid for England and Ireland. And you are completely compelled to have that legal, otherwise you're in big trouble. Now, the airlines also have that data and they have it electronically and it's put into their FMCs and they have some sort of a deal with the provider of the data, the AirRec data. Okay, so they pay for that and it's a subscription service because, well, things change and you have to be legal. Now, in flight simulators, of course, you don't have to worry about the legalities of it. You can go without it, you don't need it. But generally in flight simulators, they give you a set of data, okay, which is probably quite accurate on the release. Like when X-Plane came out, you get a set of data. But after that, you got to pay for the subscription to have it updated, okay? And that's just the way it is. I use Navigraph. It's about €10 a month and I have to pay for it. Now, have Microsoft made a deal with NavBlue to say, look, just give it to us. We'll do whatever we do and you just give us the data and you update it for our customers all the time for free. Okay. I don't know. It is a corporation. All these software companies love having add-ons that you got to pay for, DLCs and the likes. Or will Microsoft just have a deal with NavBlue that says we'll always update your flight simulator with the real live data? If they do that, I'd be very, very pleased and very, very impressed. Do I think that Microsoft will charge us for the data? Yeah, I'd say 70-30 in favour of them making us pay for the updates. It's just my opinion, guys. Just my opinion. Sorry to be a bearer of the bad news. But the good news is it's really well done. The whole flight simulator is absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't be disappointed if you have to pay for it. It's just the norm. People have to work and they have to get paid and they have to update the data. But with me, with Navigraph, I can just join for 1 month, €10, and then just not update it after that. You don't have to have it updated all the time. So let me know what you think in the comments. Will they make us pay for it, or it'll be free updates? I don't know. But I think knowing a corporate company, more than likely, possibly, as I said, 74-30 against. What do you think? Now, thank you so much for watching and subscribing, all you subscribers. I read all your comments. I know I haven't replied for the last few days because I was busy trying to learn new aircraft for the flight sim. And thank you to the members, which is why I got Navigraph in the first place, and there will be more tutorials with Navigraph as time goes on. Thank you to the members John Thomas, Ryan D. Walker, Jardine Bonable, Captain Moose, John Heaton, Dan Rudden, Flair Pilot and Graham B. Now, thank you so much for your support of the channel, and if any of you want to join the channel as a member, you just click on the join button below. But don't worry, you watching is just good enough, and especially when you reply with your comments to let me know how well the videos are, or if there's something you'd like to see or there's something you didn't like, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Reaction Review. No one's probably watching at this point, anyone. No one watches to the end. Nobody at all. And now, okay, to work. 737-800, cold and dark start. Where is the battery button? The battery button. Damn battery. Where's the battery button?